Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Yes You Can Project podcast. I cannot tell you how excited I am right now to be joined again. We're on Revisited, aren't we, Andrea? We did this 2021.
I can't believe it. And one, I don't know where the time has gone,
I
which
know.
is so incredible. And I know the word journey is something that is often overused, but it's been quite the journey, hasn't it, between now and then? And here we both are.
It definitely has, that's for sure. Well, we are here today to talk about your amazing new book, Shameless. Um, I have to say, read it in one afternoon, not gonna lie. It was incredible, like absolutely insane.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have to say, I apologize for any noise. I'm coming to you live from Spain and where we now live, which I'm sure we will get into. And we have family over having a lovely time out on the balcony. So if
Oh,
you hear laughing is all for good reasons. It is the family. And do you know what? I'm so glad that you enjoyed the book, that you plowed through it. It is a page turner. I wanted to write it in a way that it was like a almost like a blockbuster, so that it was a what next? What next? What next? What next? Oh my gosh, what is going to happen? Because actually, that's how my life was for years. And I wanted to sort of capture that desperation
yeah.
um, in the pages, which is a very weird thing when you're writing about yourself. But
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that it worked.
Yeah, it definitely did. And that I think because there was so much involved in there and you do delve into like different topics, like for example, being a parent, the menopause, there's so much that you talk about. Was there a chapter that you almost didn't include?
I suppose the parenting one, and that was because um, even though I knew how important it was to talk about the shame of making mistakes as a parent,
Yeah.
because it's something that we all do, it's something we don't confess to unless it's in a kind of jokey, you know, wine o'clock kind of what's up
Yeah.
sort of thing. But the sort of the deep feelings of shame that we get if we've made a mistake with our parenting, or even if we are children of parents who have made
Yeah.
mistakes. I felt it was a really important thing to delve into for many reasons, not least because so much of our shame starts in childhood.
Yeah,
And
of
I,
course.
I mean, I remember years ago when first talking, or hearing about this whole idea of dealing with the inner child and all this, I was like, what a load of old nonsense. You're a grown-up, all of this. And then you realize actually it's completely true. Wherever
Yeah.
you are, you carry your whole self with you. And that includes your childhood. Of course it does, because that's still part of who you are. But that was the chapter that I was just concerned about because obviously I have children and I have young
Yeah,
adult children and I didn't want to embarrass them. I didn't want to make them
of
feel
course.
awkward. So I made sure that I danced around things in a
Yeah.
way that I hoped was fulfilling and informative and
Agreed.
obviously still true, but leaving out enough so that then my kids could then, know the book was out in the wild and they were okay
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, totally. And one particular thing that like completely blew me away was when you said that we parent each child differently. And I thought I'd never considered that before, especially when you have like a gap in between children. It's because we as women become different people, like our lives change over the years. And for me, like I was like, yes, we do.
I remember being completely blown away when I first heard it. It was
Yeah,
like, how have I not considered this thing that is so obvious? Because you
totally.
think, well, I'm the same person and I've this clearly have the same parenting techniques.
Yeah.
You're not the same person. You're either a bit older or a bit younger now. Not younger now. Yeah, you were younger, now you're older. Sadly, we
Yeah,
can't go backwards. Um, but your financial situation might be different. Your
of
relationship might be
course.
different. But the key thing is you're raising a different human being. And that's
Yeah,
another thing we completely overlook that children they're born as they're fully formed human beings that will have their own personalities, likes, dislikes,
yeah,
behaviors, everything else. And what worked for one it's clearly not necessarily going to work for the other. So why do we keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and go, well, I must be doing something wrong. Why won't this work? It's because
Yeah,
it's with a completely different person. So yeah, when I realized that, and it was, I quote it in the book, it was through Dr. Gabor Mate. Yeah, the scales fell from my eyes. It was like, of course.
yeah, literally, I was exactly the same. It was just crazy. So throughout the book, Andrea, you share so many personal moments that take the reader on a journey. And it's really sad to read, and it like got me like emotionally. That some of the parts, like finding the money in the wallet and having the Chinese take, like I could feel the lump in my throat as I was reading, because I can relate to that. I've been there myself. And I think by you being this person that has been in the public eye for such a long time, that has shared the same experiences as someone just like me, I feel like you're connecting people and making them feel like, actually, I'm not on my own. Because for me, that's something that I hold shame about when I've been at food banks or not been able to feed my children sometimes. For someone like you to do that as well, I just think it's so courageous for you to open up in that way. Is there anything that you shared that you wish you hadn't?
No, no, not at all. And I'm I'm glad that it touched you, but I'm also sad that it touched you because it it it's a shared experience. It's a really tough one.
Yeah,
And the reason I wanted to call the book Shameless was because I wanted to show that there should be no shame
yeah,
around trying something and it not working. There should be no shame around a relationship not being the one that you thought you were signing up for,
yeah,
and that you've gone into with a big heart and great intentions and are not working out.
yeah,
Um, and for me, it was important to unpeel back all of those layers and all of those layers. And if I'm really honest, the whole thing about being this person who everybody has seen on their screens for over 2 decades on TV. And I'm really aware that I'm a person in the public eye, and that comes with its own rewards, its own challenges, but also its own responsibilities, I
yeah,
think. And I think that it was really important for me to show I'm actually just a person who did a job that people could see.
yes,
That's all it is. And I understand that, when we view people through a square, whether it's on the television or if it's on our phone or if it's on YouTube or what have you, there's this division between us where we think, oh, you must be different to me because
totally.
you do a job that,
Yeah,
that I can see. Um, and yes, of course, it's a shiny job, whether you're a presenter, an actor, or something like that. And because there is such a bottleneck at the top, and if you manage to be one of the few that made it
yeah,
through, keep going, especially for 2 decades, like I did, yes, of course, there's a kudos there and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I'm still just a person who did a job that you could see.
yeah,
And for me, when I started writing the book, it wasn't. It wasn't I'm going to write a book that's really going to help people. And so experienced in so many things. It wasn't that at all. When I started the book, it was a howl. It was like a howl at the moon because we we were at such a loss.
yeah,
I had lost my I'd lost my health, I'd lost my home, I'd lost my finances, I'd lost my identity, I'd lost my status. We're trying to put one foot in front of the other every day just to keep going for our kids, to keep going for ourselves, to remain self-sufficient. I'd had to borrow money off my dad. I was in my 50s. the feeling of having to ask my dad for money in my 50s when I've had this big shiny job and I've left to start this entrepreneurial journey, and for many reasons, it did not work out as I planned.
Yeah.
When I sat down to write the book, it was like a howl of anguish and rage and fear and pain and all of these things. And it was a kind of,
Therapy.
it was like a fuck at the world. Like, um, and you might think, well, why write it? So there were two reasons. One was I needed the money, and it was a case
Yeah.
of like, what can I do that I'm good at? What can I sell? We're selling our belongings to pay for Tesco's, but
Wow.
we need to keep an income coming in. I've been
Yeah.
very sick, and I can't work at the rate that I used to, but I can still sit at a laptop, and I know I'm a good writer. I've written
Yeah.
4 books. I know I'm good at this. I'll put a book idea together and I'll talk about this because it was the only thing I could think of at the time. Um, but to be honest, I didn't really know what kind of book I was going to write until I was in the throes of writing it.
Yeah.
And I also didn't really think about what it would feel like when it came out.
Okay.
That felt so far away. I knew that the press would point and laugh. I
Oh,
knew that certain people would be like, not so clever now, are we? I knew that there would be all of that, but I genuinely didn't care.
that is so brave. So
Oh,
brave.
it didn't feel like brave at the time because at the time I'm so sick of hiding. I'm so sick of hiding away and hoping no one finds out. This is so embarrassing. I tried this thing and it didn't work, and now we're on our backside.
Yeah.
I just thought, sod it. This is who I am. This is what has happened to me. There you go. And that was the
Yeah.
initial feeling. But then what actually happened was the writing of the book changed everything
Okay.
because I then started unpacking. All right, okay. Let me then, first of all, let me look into why am I feeling so ashamed? What is shame? And then I started doing more and more and more research, like I do with all of my books, but more and more and more research into shame and the hold that it has over us. And I realized, oh my God, this isn't just the shame of loss of status, identity, finances, home, health, all that I was going through.
Yeah.
My God, there's so many other layers to this. There's relationships. Why did I make so many mistakes in my past relationships? Unpacking all of that. Oh my God, this is where my idea of what love looked like came from.
Wow.
Oh, this is all making sense to me. So that by the time I finished the book, and it took nearly 2 years to write in the end, it was just under two
Gosh.
years. Um, my life had actually followed the arc that the book ended up going in. I didn't know it was going to be in an arc. I just started. I had no idea. Um, and it wasn't a like a like a rom-com. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was, there's a lot happening. It was I don't know, it's more like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
It's more like that.
Or the Crystal Maze.
Or the Maze or Tomb Raider or more like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
It's more like that. But what was so good was the me that finished it was not the me that started it.
Oh,
And
that's
by
so
that,
nice.
I meant that I worked through so many things and gained such a greater understanding of
Yeah.
this whole thing that I've experienced. And I was able to pull out and look at it from a more sort of ah,
Aerial perspective.
perspective, but also looking at the human behavior, the psychology, the with a much greater understanding of just me as a
Yeah.
human being, then also of us all as a human being. And I think because we are not out of the woods yet at all. It's not like, and then I got a multi-million pound contract. Imagine. No, not at all. We're still not out of the woods. However, I am now able to look backwards at it,
Yeah.
and it is smaller in my rearview mirror. It's still in
Great.
my rearview mirror, but I'm now able to see it as an experience that I'm now able to help other people go through.
Definitely. Yeah.
I never thought I would get to that stage, ever.
Okay.
When you're on the point of literally laying in bed at night, I cracked a tooth because I used to have braces and I bit through my night retainer thing.
Yeah.
I ground my teeth so hard, I cracked a tooth and needed root canal work, and I couldn't go to the dentist because I couldn't afford it.
Oh, bless
We
you.
were at that level of when
Yeah.
you're in the middle of all that, you don't think it's all going to be fine because in 2 years'
Mhm.
time, you will have written a book and it will be
Yeah.
so helpful. You don't know any of that. Actually, I think that's what's made the book so good, is
Yeah.
because there's no side to it. It's not
Just here's
smug.
the truth. There it is.
Yeah, it's not a smug, you know, kind of tech bro. Oh yeah, I lost millions in my first business, and now I'm a gazillionaire on a yacht. Which really annoys me, which I shouldn't, because everyone deserves to be a gazillionaire and have a yacht. It's not that at all. It's a howl
Yeah.
that finally gets redemption, if that
Yeah,
makes
definitely. I would imagine it probably, like, I think when any of us go through some kind of shame, or when we have that horrible feeling, to get out of the other side kind of changes us as people anyway, doesn't it? It kind of makes you, like you were saying about, selling possessions to buy groceries and stuff. It kind of makes you appreciate the stuff that you don't have to pay for. Because money is just stuff at the end of the day, isn't it? And it's kind of a means to an end. And when you're in those situations where you feel so low, you actually get to look around you and appreciate the stuff that doesn't cost a thing. Did you
Yeah.
feel like you managed to do that at that time?
Yes, and I mean, my little caveat to that would be that money is vital.
Yeah.
And I think people who say, oh, money doesn't matter, have never lost everything and have never,
Yes.
ever had to worry about putting food on the table.
Yeah.
You know, so I would put that as an asterisk to this because money is really, really important. And it's not like I've suddenly let go of that at all. If
Yeah.
anything, I see it much more clearly now,
Yeah.
the importance of it.
And it's more
Um,
precious as well now, I would imagine
Precious
too.
and it's more vital. And for me as well, I now, because illness was one of the key reasons why we ended up losing our business, I'd always thought I would always work because I've always
Yeah.
worked. And when that choice is taken away from you through ill health and through, you can be the most resilient person, you can have the most, keep going attitude.
Yeah.
When you physically cannot do it, um, that's when you realize how important money is to have that
Yeah.
buffer there to get you through that time. But going back to your question of did we did we appreciate the things that don't cost anything? We did, and we still do.
Yeah.
And there was there was quite a long time when both my husband and I, and I'm very aware that people hear me talking about really trying to get work and doing all this. Of course, he was doing the same thing at the same time.
Oh,
He took
definitely. Yeah.
6 years out of his own working life to work on our business together. So he had a gap in his
Yeah.
resume as well. So he's out there grinding and hustling and trying to, make a living for us as well. So it wasn't just me. But as a middle-aged man in his 50s, just as I found with me, a middle-aged woman in her 50s, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So, um, there was a very long time when we were we'd go for meetings separately, to try and, offer our services or what have you. We could afford the tube fare, but we
Yeah.
couldn't afford a coffee or anything while we're out.
Ah.
So we would take like a little flask or whatever of coffee with us and not have it in front of anybody, but
Yeah.
have at least have a bit of coffee and a little bottle of water or whatever with us.
Wow.
And then not make a big deal out of it. So it's like, do you want a
Mhm.
coffee? No, I'm good, thanks. No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Or if someone else said, oh, I'll get this, it's like, whew, okay. But I remember one time um, when you're trying to find things to do of a weekend that is free, because you
Yeah.
still need to occupy your time.
Yeah.
Yes, you're grinding and you're hustling and you're trying to think of things, but clearly you need to have downtime. So we would just go for walks because walking is free.
Yeah.
And I remember it was winter. It was a crisp winter's day, and we walked we were living in South London, and we walked and walked and walked, and we ended up down by the river, and we had our little flask of coffee. And we went and sat in the park and we sat and shared a coffee that we'd brought from home. And we looked around and, there were families and kids and everyone sort of running around. And there was this little coffee shop nearby. And Nick went, should we get a croissant?
Oh,
Oh, man. I mean, London prices. I mean, seriously, you have to remortgage your
yeah.
house just to get a croissant. And we went, okay. And we shared a croissant, sitting on this park bench, drinking our own coffee from home. And we looked at each other. Honest to God, it was one of the most special, special moments. We still talk about that day sitting on the park bench because we felt such love
Yeah.
for each other,
Mhm.
such teamwork. And oh my gosh, look at all this that we can enjoy. It's a beautiful day. Like I say, I've got your beanie hat on and my puffer coat and all of this. It's not fancy,
Yeah.
but it was beautiful and it was lovely. And it was a moment respite from all the stress that was at home.
Yeah.
And even now, living in Spain, our life is very simple.
Okay.
But one of the things that we did do that we kind of splashed out on was we bought a paddleboard because I've always I had this vision, this dream, I want to go paddleboarding, and I sit down. I treat it like a canoe. I can't.
Okay.
Um, but once obviously the expense of buying it is out the way, that's free.
Yeah.
So after a hard day of we're still working and this kind of thing, 5 o'clock in the evening here, it's warm. We take the paddleboard out and we will sit on it and chat. And we just chat about our day. And we're literally just drifting about, bobbing about the we've got the dog is a little cavapoo. He's got his little uh waterproof, what's it called? The life jacket. Little
Yeah.
doggy. He sits on the board and we just chill out. So it doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
You'll
definitely.
find precious moments.
Oh, that's so lovely. Like I could see you both having the croissant as well. Oh, Andrea, that's so cute. So I would imagine like there's so many different versions of you that people think that they know because
Mhm.
obviously you've been in the public eye. Is there any of those versions that you feel like have been misunderstood?
Oh, all of them. Them are being misunderstood.
Every
Come
single one.
on. But I'm okay with that because people will see what they want to see.
Yes.
And I I get that. I understand. I don't like everybody, so why would I expect everybody to like me? It's a
Okay.
kind of ridiculous way to think about things. It would be incredibly arrogant of me to think that everyone's going to like me
Yeah, but
or
I don't get how anybody couldn't like you.
I
But I'm serious. Like, you are such a lovely, grounded, down to earth, would help anyone with anything, generous person. Like, what is not to like? And you're funny too, we have laughs.
But again, some people find all of those things really annoying.
Well, then that's their problem,
So
isn't
there we go.
it?
And so yeah, I've had many parts of my life either dissected, reported, misreported, the wrong end of the stick taken, either by the press or
Yeah,
people in comments or what have you. And I have to just let that go because the people who really know me and or have at least, even if I've never met them, if they've kind of followed me on my journey, I don't mean literally follow me on Instagram, I mean just kind of followed me on my kind of life's journey.
yeah.
I've always been me. I've always been myself. What you saw on television was clearly a more polished version of me because someone brushed my hair and put me in a nice dress. It was still me. So there's never been any sort of pretense. Obviously, in the same way that if you work in a bank, you don't turn up every day with every part of your personality. You leave some bits at home. So
Yeah.
you might leave the mum bit at home or the maybe slightly disorganized part of you at home
Hmm.
or whatever. So clearly, when I've been at work doing a job that people can see, they might not necessarily see every single part of me, but the bit
Yeah.
that they see, of course, it's me.
Yeah.
So, in terms of when people have either misunderstood or misreported or what have you, some people would just they are very unwilling to see your side.
Yeah.
because it doesn't work for them. And that's okay.
Mhm.
I'm going through it now. Obviously, I'm doing a lot of publicity because of the book Shameless, and I'm having to talk about a lot of very challenging
Yeah.
times that I've been through. And obviously, journalists are asking me about many different parts of my life that I haven't necessarily spoken publicly about, or if I have, I haven't done it for a long time. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden people are hearing all of it all at once. And
Yeah.
I've had people saying, bloody hell, she doesn't have to moan about things. I'm not moaning, I'm just explaining about some things
Just
that I've
telling the
experienced. And,
truth.
and I'm telling the truth and I'm answering a question.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I talk like this all the time. I don't go around, in the supermarket. Hi, I'm Andrea. Can I tell you about my menopause experience? Can I tell you about what I... Of course not. I just happened to be asked a question about it.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I get it. Yeah, it is what it is.
Comes with the territory, I guess, doesn't
Yes.
it?
And
So I
that's
think,
not just because I'm on the public eye, in the public eye. Any of us who put anything out into the world
yeah.
will get it. And that's even if in some of our friendship groups or even at work or what have you, it doesn't have to just be online.
Yeah.
There's a very high chance there'll be someone going, not so sure about that, thanks very much.
But do you feel like you feel secure enough in who you are, even though you've been through such a difficult period, specifically recently? Do you feel like you're secure enough in who you are to not let it bother you? Because it must be very difficult to come from being so low to then being open up to being vulnerable again with having the book out. It must be hard.
It has been hard at times. There's been that I won't lie. There have been times where I felt quite overwhelmed, and it's like
Mm.
poking yourself in the eye over and over again because
Yeah,
you have to talk about how things felt and relive it. And obviously, in the book, I touch on lots of other moments in my life that I've maybe not necessarily put out in the public domain before, so I'm having to poke
yeah,
myself about all sorts of things. Um, but it was for the greater good, and it was for the greater
yeah.
good of understanding shame. Um, but honestly, I feel more like myself than I have done for years.
Oh my God, that's so
So
gorgeous.
it's not like I'm a new person.
Yeah.
It's I'm me again.
Almost
It's
like a free person in a way.
yeah, and I remember reading somewhere that actually midlife is when it's like you're being 16 again, but this time you like yourself.
Totally.
And I've always been quite a little weirdo. I've always, no,
Oh,
I haven't. I'm all right with that. But I've always been quite a little weirdo in that, I moved around a lot when I was a child because of my dad's job. And I went to 7 different schools it was 7 or 9, can't remember. A lot. By the time I was 17, in 4 different countries, we moved a lot.
gosh.
And so I was always moving and joining schools at the wrong time and having to blend in and all this sort of thing. But I've always been fairly accepting of, okay, well, I get why these people would bully me at school or look at me a bit weird because I've arrived from a different country and I have a different
Yeah,
accent and I have a different attitude to you. So I totally get why you're looking at me a bit funny. I had that from when I was a teenager.
yeah,
And it was a mindset that actually served me really well in working in television and in the public eye because I just thought, oh, that's okay. No, I get why you would feel that way. And
yeah,
because I kind of naturally greet it with understanding rather than anger or
yeah. Upset.
irritation or that sort of thing. I don't fight it. It doesn't mean that I'm weak and I'm just kind of rolling over. It's just I just get it. And so I've always had quite a strong sense of self. And I think
Okay.
that is what I mean by I feel like me again. I think I did go through a really bumpy decade or so
Yeah,
where I did lose myself and I didn't really know quite what to be because I think I was a bit lost. It was particularly, you know, yeah, the last maybe even 15 years, I suppose, in terms of being in a marriage that wasn't necessarily what people thought it was, and then getting
yeah,
divorced and dealing with the fallout of that and not saying anything, and then uh, meeting and falling in love again and have almost being judged for that in terms of, well, look at her, and that was quite odd. And then obviously starting my business and everything else and that not
Yeah.
working. But I feel like I've kind of breathed out and let all of that go. I don't feel like I have to try and be TV Andrea, entrepreneur Andrea,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm just me, and it's nice.
Oh, I
I'm like
love
Ken. I'm like Ken. I'm just Ken.
yeah, I love that so much. Has your version, Andrea, of success changed?
Yeah, it has. And I was very lucky in that I saw success. I saw great success and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it and I appreciated it. I didn't take it for granted. I suppose the thing I took for granted was I thought that this was how my life would always be. I suppose I took that bit for granted because I had it for such a long time. Um, but I've seen what success looks like. Now I realize I've seen what success looks like in that way.
Yeah.
Oh my word, there's countless ways that you can be successful. So for me, the move to Spain came about after being so seriously ill that I was hospitalized and was very, very poorly, and realizing, you know, you you're always waiting for the right moment, and you don't know
Yeah.
what if how many moments you have left. And we had discovered that I'd nearly run out of moments, so and moving here was for my health. It was for everything. It was a fresh start. My idea of success had to change from productivity. How many hours am I putting in front of the laptop? How many, approaches have I made or pitches have I done or all this kind of thing because I'm self-employed and I've always been self-employed. Um, how many brands have I reached out to? All of this kind of thing. No, my success level was, am I healthy?
Yes.
Um, y- they say you have, what is it, 99 problems until you lose your health and then you have one. And that's
Mhm.
so true. And so I treated getting well as my job. And so for the past sort of 9, 10 months or so, it's about how do I feel? Now, I know I don't look the same as I did when I was th that version of really successful. I don't look as shiny. I don't have the same things. I don't live the same sort of life. But is it successful? Yeah, it is. I have I have my health. I have a wonderful husband who loves me and I love him. We have a great relationship. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're normal. We're bigger like everybody else, but we have a really loving, fun team type.
Yeah.
We're very much a team relationship. I have a brilliant little dog he's our baby. Our kids have grown up and left, so they're off doing their own thing. Although the funny thing about moving to Spain, we are more popular than we've ever been.
I bet you are.
Yeah, currently here right now, enjoying a little holiday. Um, we are earning enough that we are ticking along. Absolutely, I would like to earn more so that then I have a buffer just in case,
Yeah.
because we all need a just in case buffer. But if I was to tick all the aspects of my life that make up success, yeah, doing
Oh,
really well.
you seem happy.
I am happy, and I realize that that's something that I maybe wasn't,
Yeah.
even when I was super successful. I was happy in one kind of way, but there wasn't like a peaceful contentment because you're busy and you're grinding and you're working. And don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, I loved it. I was one of these lots of plates and spinning and busy and so important. Um, no, it's a different kind of happy now. It's gentler, it's slower. But I'm still excited about things.
Yeah.
I still have ideas. I still love getting excited about creative things that I can work on, but I'm doing it at a pace that works for me. And I think that is success.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think the book, Andrea, has been because obviously you've supported so many people over the years, you've entertained so many people over the years. Do you think the book was almost like you holding a mirror up to yourself and kind of celebrating your own self in a way, as difficult as it was obviously to share. It was almost like that acceptance of actually it's okay for people to feel this way.
Do you know what's so great about that question was that when I wrote it, I wasn't thinking about any of those things. And when I did the cover shoot for the book cover, did the
Mhm.
photographs for it, I had a really strong idea as to how I wanted the cover to look. And
Yes.
I didn't want it to be a normal daytime TV, very glossy kind of, hi, my life was a complete mess, but now everything's amazing. Dazzling smile. I didn't want it to be that because it's not that kind of book. It's a punch in the face roller coaster kind of book. And I wanted the brief for the photographer who was a bit like, okay, this is different, but this is fun. Let's go with it. I wanted to look like a Hollywood star who's just been arrested.
Mugshot.
I wanted it to look like a mugshot because I wanted to look glamorous because that's what
Mhm.
people would expect, but disheveled. As
Okay.
in, suddenly I found myself in a police station and now I'm like, what's just happened? That kind of look. And so
I
that
think
was
we have to hold this up again.
woo,
It's just,
good, isn't it?
it's on point. It really
On
is.
point.
Nailed the brief there.
Exactly. But what is so interesting, and this is relevant to your question, is very soon after that picture was taken, I removed all my hair extensions. So
Okay.
I've worn hair extensions for years. Most people who are in the public eye have hair extensions because it just makes your hair nice and kind of gives you a bit more volume and all of this.
Yeah.
But I was on such strong antibiotics because of the pneumonia and I had kidney failure and sepsis that my hair had started falling out and
Oh, bless you.
I'd lost weight, which is why I look so chiseled. Photograph.
Snatched.
I look snatched jaw. That's pneumonia jaw. But my hair was falling out. And
Oh,
so I took my hairpiece out, my hair extensions out, and chopped all my hair off to just give it a fighting chance of kind of growing back again. And there were moments building up to the book coming out, and I thought, oh, I don't look like that anymore. Obviously, I've put weight back on, and I've got short hair. And then I thought, actually, no, that book is the final goodbye to that me.
oh, wow.
And it reframed everything. So now, rather than thinking, oh, I need to I should have had a different cover with the short hair,
Mhm.
I really like that book. And it's the cover is me looking like TV Andrea,
Yeah.
but disheveled because she's gone now,
Yeah. You're leaving her behind.
leaving her behind. And this book sums up all of that part of my life,
Yeah.
everything that happened. And then that door is shut. And now this is me. This is me
Mhm.
without hair extensions. This is me with hardly any makeup on, literally sitting on my sofa in my house. This is the new chapter, if you like.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was a farewell. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was a farewell, but it is.
Oh, I love that so much. Because obviously we all have shame. Like there is nobody that is excused from having these feelings. If there's a woman listening to this right now and she's carrying a secret shame, what would be your advice to her?
The biggest learning that I had about shame, obviously through research into, different psychological viewpoints on it and sociological viewpoints on it and this kind of thing, was the takeaway that so often shame is guilt wrapped up in something else. And it's
Yes.
normally guilt that you've done something that maybe where you reflect on that hasn't wasn't maybe the right decision or what have you, or maybe how your behavior has impacted on someone else unintentionally or intentionally. And the biggest takeaway for me was that guilt says I have done something wrong.
Yeah.
Shame says I am something that is wrong. Guilt says I've done something that's no good. Shame says I am no good.
Yeah.
And it would be to maybe look at unpacking why do you feel shame around this thing? Because sometimes shame is like a gift that you're given, whether through other people are going, well, you need to feel shame about this. Actually, it's a gift that you can go, thank you very much, but I'm giving that back. That's not mine to carry. It's not, it's really not.
Yeah,
And I may be feeling certain things about stuff I need to take responsibility for. But as long as I do that, I can let I can let go of the shame and I don't need to carry it around. And I think
100%.
particularly as women, we beat ourselves up for not getting it right all the time.
Yeah,
We're just human beings. We can't get it right all the time. And I think as women, we're programmed to feel shame
yeah,
for not being the best parent, for not snapping back after giving birth and looking amazing, for, you know, being a ball breaker at work, but also being an amazing wife and being a brilliant mother and also a caring daughter to, if
yeah,
you're middle-aged, to, parents, to always being there to listen to your teenager, to also being there to listen to your husband.
yeah,
All of these things we are programmed daily by everything we see, everything we hear, to
100%.
feel like you're failing at least half of those things if we're not getting it right. And I think if we're able to, like I unpacked in the book, be able to just step out a little bit and think, hang on a minute, is this something that is actually me for me to carry?
Yeah.
Good grief, no, it's not.
Hmm.
Thank you very much for your gift, but I'm going to give it back.
I think we find ourselves apologizing all the time though, don't we? As women, we're either too loud, too quiet, too this, too that, wearing this, don't wear. It's can be exhausting. And I think the feelings of shame when we are shamed comes along with that at the same time, doesn't it? What for you, Andrea, are you no longer apologizing for?
I think the biggest thing for me was relationship failure.
Okay.
So career failure, as in, having an entrepreneurial experience that didn't work out as I had hoped and dreamed. Um, there'll be a level of understanding for that amongst entrepreneurs, particularly who understand
100%.
what experience is like. And there'll be a level of misunderstanding, deliberately or otherwise, for people who've never had an entrepreneurial experience and
Yeah.
have their own views on what that would be like. But we've all been in relationships. And I think that I, for a long time, carried a lot of shame for getting it wrong and the effects that that would have had on my children.
Yeah.
Because um, I thought I would be like my mum and dad. They met and married really young and are still together. They're amazing. They were over here
Oh,
just last week. They're brilliant. They're great.
you
And
are popular, aren't you? You've got all of them.
I know. I've done so much laundry. Um, but I just thought that's what I would have. And then
Yeah,
when I ended up, I not only did not have that, but I found myself in situations that were so beyond my own parents' understanding of what relationships could be. So therefore, it was hard to talk to someone about it because they wouldn't
totally.
have no bandwidth for it because they don't understand. And then being someone in the public eye and having people make their own assumptions and make up nonsense about it. I felt so much shame
Yeah.
for that because I got it wrong. I made mistakes. I also had mistakes thrust upon me, can I just
Yeah.
say?
I was going to say it wasn't all you.
But I kind of feel like I bore the brunt of that and I felt a lot of shame for it. And I don't now. And it's not to say that I feel like like rage or indignant or that's unfair or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, I just feel that was what it was. And now here I am. And I'm good. My kids are good. Life is okay. We've all learnt and grown.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that over there. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
That was a gift that was not mine to carry.
Yes, 100%. Oh, Andrea, it's been absolutely wonderful to chat to you as always. And I would implore everybody to read this book and then pass it on to a friend.
Thank you. And I would definitely say it's one of these books. It's a word of mouth book. I would just
Totally.
the feedback that I'm getting is people going, I kind of bought it because I was kind of curious because you're that lady. Oh my God, it blew my mind. And now
Yeah.
I'm recommending it to this friend and I bought it for this friend and I'm passing it on. And that's what I'm really, really loving. It's
Yeah.
becoming one of those books because it really is one of those books. You don't even have
Yes.
to know me. You don't even have to like me, but oh my gosh, you will see so much of what will resonate with you as a person, everybody
100%.
in the pages of the book. So
Yeah, 100%. There is something for everyone in there because it's a human to a human.
yes, it is. Oh, thank you,
Bless
Michelle.
you. Well, it's
Thank
been
you.
so lovely. Thank you very, very much. And I will speak to you soon.
Oh, you will. You will.